3, 2, 1, and we're live on LinkedIn, on a LinkedIn Live. And we've got a full house this time, ladles and gently spoons. We have James and Scott above the HubStart logo. I'm sorry, boys. Who are the senior people, our best HubSpot friends, HubStart. So we and HubSpot work very closely on lots of HubSpot projects. And I'm also joined by Face for Radio, Richard, as we shall now call him, who's the co-director of Real Inbound. Introduction. Well, thank you all for being here. So without very much further ado, let's jump in and start talking about the updates, shall we? Make sure we're sharing the right screen. So, James, I'm going to need to add Scott in on here as well. Sorry, Scott. Just chuck you up as well. There you go. Oh, now you've got a square. I need to make you a circle.
Favoritism.
Get rid of your border. Let's turn you into a circle. There you go. Well done. So, also in smaller new. James, let's make you a bit smaller and put you there. It's not beautiful,
perfect,
but it's working.
Doesn't matter.
There you go. So there's ladies and gentlemen, I'm the important one down here in the bottom, and then the other three are at the top. Okay, so let's talk HubSpot updates. So just so you remember, we're going to run through the updates of the last 7 days. There are voluminous, numerous even HubSpot updates, and we're going to try and make sense of them for you because they happen so regularly, so fast. But each show that we do on a Wednesday at 12:30-ish, we'll cover just the last 7 days worth. So I've set up my screen. I've gone to my account and clicked on product updates and then selected all product updates and set the time period to the last 7 days. So if anybody wants to know how we've got here, this is how we got here. So let's jump in. Sunsetting first. I'll have a bit of sunsetting. What's going on here, James? They've sunsetted adjusted open rates for marketing emails.
Yeah, so this is sort of like a reporting adjustment that they've made. So originally the analytics you had within so your marketing emails were automatically excluding the opens and clicks and behavior of bots, and they've made the decision that the base level metric now is going to be all engagement with a secondary for sort of excluding the bot traffic. So
yeah.
It's just basically changing the way that they report.
So this was launched, if I remember, when Apple made the very noisy change to the way it handled emails. So if you know anything about this, guys, Apple basically tried to hide your email address, which causes email software all sorts of problems when it comes to things like working out who's actually opened an email and read it versus the bot, which could be the Apple bot or anything else. That's sort of pre-reading the email, scanning the email, and was registering as an engagement, which clearly it wasn't because it was a bot. So we've come up with a clever way of working around that, as James has just discussed. So they're looking at the engagement metrics, a fuller view, it says here. You'll only have data for excluding bots metric on emails published after November the 15th last year. So ones before that are still going to be affected. Rich, any views on that? Anything to add?
Only to support it. It's good that they did it, and it's good that they've now just accepted it into the wider.
The new normal.
The new normal. Love it.
Absolutely.
Scott,
augmented normal.
Scott, are you going to keep quiet so we can move on, or have you got something to add?
No.
Intent. That's the correct answer. Thanks, Scott. You kick us off with custom event creation via API then, Scott.
Yeah, this one's quite interesting. I can see that, it's there for a few reasons. First reason is obviously data synchronization between different systems. Being able to capture your custom event types from, with inside, if you're in a SaaS product or other system, it is obviously going to be a big deal because that's going to be a major trigger for upsells and cross sells in terms of usage data coming into the system. The other big one I see here is that a lot of, if you're using the Chat GPT or Gemini, a lot of people are only using this for content creation, but from developers, we're using this for grouping, clustering, topic selection, customer problem identification. So being able to use, before it was very focused on structured data, but event data is really being focused on unstructured data. What are people writing? How are they writing it? What are they writing on social media? What are they writing in your application? Text areas that now can be classified as events as well. So I think, previously event data has always been very numerical, but now it's becoming to unstructured data, textual and things like this. So the need to dynamically identify important topics and event types is going to increase with all this AI technology that's out there. It's super exciting, especially imagine you can identify a customer problem or an upsell opportunity by just something that they wrote in a text box, and being able to classify that and then inject that into your HubSpot and automatically react to that. It's
Nice.
It's going to be exciting how that's going to be used.
I hope that they go.
Of course, they have the
beyond
event types there, but
profiles.
AI
they look at the
can discover new event types.
What is the company doing? What is their trends in the news?
What the human can
so
think
many
of
data
when
sources
new
out there
opportunities can
that
be
can be
identified.
aggregated
Doing.
Yeah, great description.
And if they
James,
understand what you're
anything to add?
selling, your customer problem, I think it can really,
not
really
very much
drill
to
into
add to that.
high
To be
value
honest, like,
information
that's
for
a very good
salespeople, like
explanation
you're
of it.
saying. Like,
It's just nice to
this
see
company
that because
most likely has
we
these
have
following
that
customer
expansion of the
problems
things
that we can
can
solve
use
for them.
to make
And this is the
personalized
highest
content
priority.
and
This
to
is the lowest
use with our
priority.
marketing sales
Rather
strategy.
than just the boring
So
stats of industry
like the
and
fact that we
company
no longer have
size,
just look within
now we're
HubSpot,
getting
but
into
immediate things like
psychometrics
how
or
people
whatever you want to
engage
call
with
them,
the ad
plus
content,
really
social
deep
content, marketing email content that we're
prospecting,
sending
customer
out. We can
problems.
look at that wider
So,
picture of a
I
person.
think
Yeah,
that's the really
Rich, I was
interesting
going to ask you about
as
that,
a sales manager.
the side of it,
You like
particularly
to
from ad
think
and social media.
salespeople do research. They do their
integration,
diligence,
for want of a
due
better word.
diligence
So
before they
what
reach
it
out to
does is
somebody, but they
allows
don't,
for a far richer picture.
We see that
of
from
our
the
customers'
messages you get on
engagements
LinkedIn
and
saying,
interactions
"I
with the
can
website,
see you're
right?
this,"
So if we're
when
sending
you're
somebody
clearly
in to a PPC,
and so a lot of that is AI
and
now. So
I think
or something
it's
along
really
those
interesting
lines.
that if this
And
is going to
as
serve
Scott says,
a
it can
salesperson, a
pass,
prospect that has been through all that rigor data,
like you said at the top,
somebody's
Scott,
there are fewer
more
prospects
prospects
because it does
rather
a better
than
job
just
of
a
checking them out.
checkbox. That's really
It's going to
interesting.
give us enormous amounts of
The
insight
idea of
into the
inbound
ROI
sales,
of those
particularly,
adverts,
right,
much
or
greater
customer centric
than just being able to check the box.
customer-centric sales.
And I'm sorry, I asked you a question and then answered it for you as well.
expression.
How do you
You're
think it
only
impacts
there
on
to
advertising
serve
and
the
social
customer.
media?
Right?
Why
That means the
use my
customer
brain when you can
is
use yours?
either identified
Brilliant.
by themselves, they put their
But it goes
I'm
beyond that
or
as well.
identified by your
Oh,
research.
don't-
Sorry,
don't
I'm
you
happy to
steer.
interrupt Richard
And if
as
your
well
research
now.
is not identifying them, go on, Reg. Anything that can
guys keep
help
going.
to
My
identify
brain's
them
quite
is going to be
happy to-
massive. It's going to be absolutely huge.
to
Sit on
save
the
the
shelf.
neuron.
Imagine sitting there
sit on the
getting
shelf.
4 or
Okay,
5
you lead the
people.
next one on
The research
on
is done,
forms, on
the
social
scores are
inbox,
made,
re-envisioned
register this, that,
with
or the
YouTube,
other,
as
as
opposed
opposed
to
to
just
just so
pressing your
quickly read
button
up on
and
that
firing
while James
10,000
adds
emails out again.
context to this one.
I think it's
Yeah, so I was saying
fascinating.
that it's not just sort
Okay.
of looking at
Who's,
say what
who's
somebody's
our
putting in the description box of your form. It's looking at things outside of what you have control over, like if they're posting things on LinkedIn that show that they have certain pain points, for instance, that actually relate to like what your product can solve, then pulling that information in from that kind of source or any other kind of social media sources, for instance, and using that data to process and then grade somebody and then target them.
Yeah, a great use case. Yeah, nice one. Thanks, James. Rich, Talk to me about the social inbox re-envisioning with YouTube commenting, which apparently is a very high impact beta that we can opt into. I should have said the last actually was an enterprise feature, everybody. Rich.
So I think the key thing here is it's adding some of the functionality that you've already got in HubSpot for listening to what people are reacting to your social posts, being able to do it in YouTube. So the 4 things that you can do is you can respond to messages, you can see comments, and you can also trigger other things from those feedback. So basically, it's an integration that will enable you to manage your YouTube more effectively through the shared HubSpot social connections. I mean, it's such a massive channel that anything you do on YouTube is going to be huge, and I think this is just one of those pieces of the puzzle. So yeah, all of a sudden you can do the same as you can do, mainly the same as you can do in Facebook, etc., or Twitter. You can now do in YouTube.
Another one of those we've talked about last week or last time, where the point solutions, HubSpot's version of Hootsuite and so on and so on, these are all getting better all the time. So this is additional functionality. A functionality you would probably expect to be there, to be honest. But it's good to see it. It's good to see it. Yeah. Especially, like you say, Rich, YouTube being the second largest search engine on the planet, eh? You'd think that would be in there. James?
Yeah, I mean, I was just going to say to that point, like such a high proportion of the marketing that HubSpot does is YouTube based. It's an excellent channel for communicating, educating people, showing them who you are, your skills, etc. So it's great that we can control that from in HubSpot now. Yeah. Really badly needed.
Or about time we can control it in HubSpot now. Quite right. And this is an option that you have to request. So we'll be doing that very shortly. getting it in. Conditional logic in forms. Scott, this feels a bit up your street. You got any insights for us?
From my understanding, what this is going to mean is, more like wizard style of forms. If you need, to capture a lot of information, it's just going to make it a lot easier. I know that's a big frustration with a lot of teams, going through, a lot of fields. So this will be, I think it's save a lot of headaches. I mean, I can't imagine. So many times we've had to put JavaScript into the system to make the forms work the way we want. That's great if we can skip that and just pass that on to the HubSpot consultants to work out.
There's another enterprise but pro level tool as well, another beta to join. Can anybody tell me what is the difference between a multi-step form, which we now have in HubSpot, and a form with conditional logic?
Yeah, so that would be with a multi-step form, it's sort of several clear steps, sort of like page 1, page 2, page 3, page 4. And then conditional would mean that based on your responses on page 1, you send people to page 1A or 1B, for instance, to collect information based on their prior inputs.
That's exactly how I would have described it if I'd known the difference. Thanks, James. Okay, update CAA to maintain support for Android. I don't know anything about Android. I've never had an Android phone or a Samsung anything. I'm Apple through and through. So why does this matter? What's this all about? Everybody reads it.
I mean, this seems to just be like a security kind of sunsetting thing, if I'm understanding it correctly. This is a pretty inevitable thing where as devices get older, then they can no longer be supported whilst maintaining security on a website. So it's just something we expect HubSpot to do to protect us. As far as I understand it.
I've been a quick scan myself. I think it's just keeping things up to date, keeping things nice and tidy, even for those people with the developmental non-iPhone tools. they matter as well.
Yeah.
Yes,
Mobile optimized email. Mobile optimized. This is much more exciting. Let's get onto this.
Yeah.
So quietly, I've noticed the HubSpot app. So this is not using HubSpot on your mobile or on your iPad. Other tablets are available, although not recommended. This is actually having the HubSpot app on a mobile, and up until fairly recently, it's been pretty shonky. It's all right, but even salespeople who are probably its primary target found it difficult to do their job with the mobile version. You could just about do it, but it's far easier to wait until you got back to base or go back to your car and jump on your laptop. But I've noticed recently it's just getting better and better. There's an awful lot of work going into it, it would appear. And I would say having these emails optimized is going to help. It's not. James is embarrassed now because he knows it's not the HubSpot app. It's got nothing to do with the HubSpot app. It's just optimizing HubSpot emails for mobile.
That is exactly what it is. Yeah. You at what point to interrupt you, just to let you ramble about something that's completely unrelated or not.
Well, you usually don't, so you may as well have allowed me to make a complete fool of myself. That's fine.
So yeah, like I mean, this is kind of similar to what we had for a while with like the website. Like when you're creating website pages and so on, you can preview and see how they're going to look on mobile, and this is basically just doing the same thing for email, which is logical because people mostly will open their emails on mobile these days. It's just how it is. So you've got to have that control.
That's the bit I meant. That's where I meant to go, about people working in mobile and opening emails in mobile that are now optimized by HubSpot. Yeah. Cool. Okay. This is another beta available to Marketing Pro and above. Okay. Podcast reporting, Content Hub. Content Hub Enterprise Pro, Enterprise Customer Platform, which includes content and Marketing Plus, Enterprise and Marketing Pro. So basically, Content Hub. So if you've got Content Hub, you can do podcasts. And if you do podcasts, you're going to want to do podcast reporting, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is literally, well, you can see the even the KPIs that it's managing: the show performance, audience devices, episode plays. Exactly the sort of thing, again, you would expect to see that wasn't there when HubSpot initially launched the podcasting feature. It's now just been brought up to date. So you've got this, I imagine, will end up in the campaign tool. You'll also eventually be able to see this stuff impacting on the broader campaign as well, which is really exciting. And again, is only available after podcasts created beyond August 15, 2024. And navigate to the Analyze tab of Podcast Management. You'll be able to adjust the range and frequency of the data, and then you'll see the reports as you can see them for most of the other channels within HubSpot. So it's a really useful catch-up. Check me out, pretending to know what I'm talking about after the debacle of the mobile optimized emails. Prospecting agent. Now, this is exciting. Anybody looked at this yet?
Yeah. Oh yes, yeah. This is really fun. This is something that I know Scott will particularly like because he's investigated these strategies a lot before.
Mr. AI, Scott,
yeah,
Mr.
exactly,
AI,
yeah.
He is actually an AI.
Having...
He's an He's a generated agent himself.
I did suspect that. I didn't actually meet him until several years after starting working with him. Who would have known he could have been an AI that whole time?
Yeah.
No, he's a real person. He's very tall.
I've only ever seen him on Neighbours or on here. So, Scott, talk to us about this one.
I don't know why I don't see that on my list. On mine it doesn't have that update. So it's
James,
interesting. What is it? Prospecting.
Talk to us about this one.
Yeah, sure. So basically, this is around being able to put people into, like prospects, into a campaign in HubSpot, define some basic things, and then a HubSpot AI is then going to go off, do research on those people using data available online, and then it's going to formulate emails and content to start trying to prospect them, which you can either do in a semi-automated way of where you review it before it sends it, or it can do it fully automated if you want to really go for it and trust that it's going to come up with the right thing. So yeah, basically it's AI prospecting within HubSpot, which is huge.
It's a completely scary idea,
Yeah.
and I suspect, and to be fair, you'll see it in Clay, you see it in other softwares anyway. But human nature being what it is, I think people are going to completely abdicate the responsibility for crafting human emails using human insight, using charisma, and just going to be firing off loads of AI generated nonsense.
Something that I've been using this for, like I haven't used the HubSpot one, but definitely like tools like Apollo and other things where you're just getting data source. We've replaced that with agents. So what we've been doing and I'm not quite sure the HubSpot version yet, is like you type in a keyword for your LinkedIn and you're looking for prospects, but we got ChatGPT to read the content and actually say, is this person, we ask a question, like a series of questions. Is this person in this industry? Is this person really, let's say you're focusing on CTOs. Is this person really a CTO? Do they really have X amount of experience? So when you're kind of targeting your prospects, actually it's, the agents we've been using have massively reduced the number of prospects. So we're really trying to focus on hitting the right people in mass rather than just hitting generic people. So heavily using it for, LinkedIn only gives you keywords, but most of the time you type in a keyword, especially if it's an acronym like CTO or founder or something, you're going to, only 50% of that's probably going to be valid, maybe even less. And using the prospecting bots to really drill into their profiles, read the information, read the posts, extract out if they're actually going to fit, and what kind of messaging you want to send to that person. So I'm not quite sure how deep HubSpot agents go into that, but
that's a good description of what's going on, I think. Yeah.
And reading and being able to convert, as I said, unstructured data to structured data is going to be the key. Understanding topic maps and how that kind of relates to who you are is going to be interesting. So I'm keen to read up more about this one. As I said, it's not, for some reason I don't see it, but
that is
very
weird.
interesting topic.
Are you maybe not seeing my screen? You're looking at your own screen again, are you?
No, I can see yours, but it's a bit hard to read off your screen. So
Got you. Sorry, bud.
Trying to find it on mine. Yeah.
Rich, this is pretty massive. It's part of HubSpot's drive towards the new sell-in space. So prospecting space is going to be replaced by the sales space, which is hugely exciting, but equally a bit worrying. What have you got any perspectives to share with us on this whole question, AI outreach and so on?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's down to numbers, isn't it? I mean, this is going to enable you to do it on a bigger scale, because you'll be able to build structures that support that kind of thing. But in terms of B2B marketing that we tend to do, I mean, you could argue that you could canvas larger segments of markets with this kind of situation. I'd be more interested in the research than the actual. I don't think it's really great to have AIs sending people stuff necessarily. The quality that I've seen never tends to be particularly good, but it'd be a good way of like building, like almost like you're eradicating lots of false positives, like people who don't really want to engage. For that, I think it's really strong. But yeah, like I say, for us, it would be, we'd still want to do that that level of communication, that email we'd want to do. I think we'd want to do manually. I think.
It's a very, I feel like this might be even a response to Google's workflow about agents and things like that. So I think people, see agents as just like ChatGPT and LLMs, like large language models. But the reality is, when you start combining agents together, your results end up dramatically different, much, much better quality than you would get out of just typing into ChatGPT.
Yeah.
So the idea is, like, with this, I'm not sure how deep HubSpot will go, but with the agent framework, one of the things they've been doing is, like, go find me a prospect, and then you can get an agent to pretend to be your marketing team. Does this prospect meet my MQLs? Are they going to convert? What type of content do they like? Then you can pretend an agent's a salesperson, and you get this kind of simulated environment. So, definitely ChatGPT and those content generations without context deliver good results, but not great.
Yeah.
But when you start chaining the different models and the information together, like, if you're writing a piece of content, you're not necessarily just going to publish that. And people are relying on ChatGPT. They call it zero shot, just to write an email or write content and send it. But when you start getting the agents to review each other, you're like, write an email to my prospect, and then you got the next agent saying, does this contain our core values, and what are they? And then it feeds back to the other one and tries to correct it and correct this information. So that's kind of a very interesting way. But yeah, on the prospecting side, I hope that they go beyond just the profiles, that they look at what are the historical posts, what is the company doing, what is their trends in the news. Like, there's so many data sources out there that can be aggregated to right. And if they understand what you're selling, your customer problem, like, I think it can really, really drill into high value information for salespeople. Like you're saying, like, this company most likely has these following customer problems that we can solve for them. And this is the highest priority. This is the lowest priority, rather than just the boring stats of industry and company size. Now we're getting into psychometrics, or whatever you want to call them, plus really deep prospecting customer problems. So
I think that's the really interesting bit for me as a sales manager. You like to think salespeople do research, they do their due diligence before they reach out to somebody, but they don't. We see that from the messages you get on LinkedIn saying, "I can see you're this," when you're clearly not. And so a lot of that is AI now. So I think it's really interesting that if this is going to serve salesperson a prospect that has been through all that rigor, like you said at the top, Scott, there are fewer prospects because it does a better job of checking them out. That's really interesting, because the idea of inbound sales, particularly, right, or customer centric sales, I should say, is at its ultimate expression, you're only there to serve the customer, right? That means the customer is either identified by themselves, they put their hands up, or identified by your research. And if your research is not identifying them, anything that can help to identify them is going to be massive. It's going to be absolutely huge. So imagine sitting there getting 4 or 5 people, the research is done, the scores are made, they register this, that, or the other, as opposed to just pressing your button and firing 10,000 emails out again. I think it's absolutely fascinating. Okay, who's our Adobe expert?
Not me.
An Adobe Express integration. So it's an integration. That's a good start. And I'm going to take a guess. Now, we know how good my guesses are. They're often about the wrong hub. But this is about pulling in designs into HubSpot, into your marketing and sales collateral fairly seamlessly. Is it not?
Pretty much.
So the same way you can build something in Canva, you can now use the big boys tools, the Adobe tools, and do that. So we can finally persuade Mark to do his design in HubSpot, because he doesn't like Canva and he only likes Adobe. There you go. That's what that one's about. Brilliant. The activity tab in campaigns is now live. It's live for Enterprise and Pro, Marketing Enterprise and Pro. And it's really cool, actually. A very quick a preview of it. It just adds activity to the campaign. So all of the activity that your campaign is measuring, everything that is being recorded via the assets that you've added to the campaign tool, it gets reflected in an activity tab. So if somebody's opened an email, you'll see that. If somebody's replied, you'll see that. If a social post has gone out, you'll see that in a kind of natural order, on a timeline, if you like, of all the things that are happening that are to do with that campaign. I think this is a really clever idea. James, you're going to tell me that it's not that at all. It's something completely different.
Yeah, this is more about the it's kind of like an audit trail of well, it is what you've said actually.
It is
But
what I said.
It
Let's
is.
be
It is
honest.
also about. Yeah. Okay. Should I just accept it as just what you said and nothing more?
No, add a bit of
It,
flavor.
it is also about like adding and removing content from a campaign, the audit trail of that, because like we're when content is in a campaign, obviously that's then being factored into the campaign's overall metrics. So
Yeah.
if you remove content from that campaign and move it into somewhere else, then that's going to then start affecting the metrics of that campaign. So it's just allowing you to see when that happens as well. So that like if you so if someone moves something to the wrong place to be blunt about it, then you know that and you can make sure that your reports are reporting correctly.
So exactly what I said, a timeline of all the activity that's going on in the campaign.
Yes.
With the
Yes.
delightful opportunity to edit it as well. I'll give you that one. Thanks, James. Okay, page 2. Right, what's going on here? We've got podcast reporting again, so I'm going to skip that. New app feature discovery and compatibility details. App feature discovery, I think, rather than app feature discovery. Scott, is this one of the ones that's up your street? Development? Can you see it again? Or rather, can you not see it?
I don't have this on my list either for some reason.
Oh, man. Okay. So this is available to anyone with an app listed in the HubSpot app marketplace. Go on. You got it?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. And it's it's about finding features in apps. Not to be too obvious.
It sounds like you're able to, from what I'm seeing here, is like one of the issues that a lot of apps have had, like even one of our apps, as HubSpot keeps changing those permissions and updating their details. The only way to really update your app is you have to tell all the customers to disconnect and then reconnect and do that. So that's always been a bit messy. This looks like they're trying to fix that issue around, like, being able to offer certain features and then evolve your app without having to disconnect and reconnect. That kind of looks like what it's been that's kind of focused on. Yeah. Cool. That's been a pain. That's been a pain for us because it's every time we got a plug in and they update something, it's like, what are you going to go tell every customer to disconnect and reconnect? And it's getting messy.
Yeah, horrible. James, anything to add on that?
Yeah, it's also it's also about that process before you even install plugins in the first place, like knowing how that's going to affect your portal as well, like what areas of the portal that's going to touch, what data areas it's going to like be interacting with, because if you're installing plugins willy-nilly, they may conflict with each other, or they may do something you're not expecting them to do. So like from a user's perspective as well, just knowing what impact it's going to have on your very important CRM is something you've got to know.
Yeah. Rich, any views on this one?
No, I mean, a lot of these features that we've talked about today all seem to be very much like, upgrading incrementally, with spot tools that, with features that basically people will find useful, but also would find on competing tools of specialist nature. So this one, for me, is just another one of those kind of, well, we should have had it in the first place. It's a shame it didn't, and now it has. Hallelujah, sort of thing.
Yeah, great, nice. Thanks, Rich. So let's look at our medium impact collaborate mode in ChatSpot. This is very interesting. And it's a beta. You can join it at any level of HubSpot. And it is basically gives you the ability to collaborate in ChatSpot. So if you're using ChatSpot and you're using it to design some content for you, as you can see here, it's adding that existing collaborate feature in various parts of HubSpot, such as the marketing email editor, adding it to the ChatSpot interface. Anybody, Scott, Mr. AI, you got any views on this sort of thing?
Well, I think this is what you just mentioned is just something that has to be there, right? These collaboration tools, like if you want to compete Google or Microsoft and other CRMs like these, they have to go through it. And I think HubSpot's AI approach in the beginning was very simplistic. So I think this is trying to open up to more, trying to open it up a bit more into more complex AI. As I said, like zero shot just means get AI to write your content. HubSpot's been focused on zero shot, but it looks like they're preparing to evolve to kind of more, collaboration, share, include different humans and different actors in those kind of content. So it's only a good thing in my mind.
Yeah. And like Richard said, another one of those opportunities, I suppose, to bring what the competition is doing, bringing it into HubSpot so that it's a bit more up to date, perhaps. James, got anything to add on this one?
No, I think that's a very good summary. It's basically an AI aid for when you're doing your content.
Yeah, literally collaborate with ChatSpot. Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Right, what do we got? Find custom objects using global search on Android. Another opportunity for third world Android users to catch up with what everybody else is doing. Scott, I could see, these are landing. That's why I'm still doing it.
Scott left the trap.
He's fallen into the trap. So yeah, it's another one. I think it is what it is, isn't it? It just allows your Android device to use global search to now find custom objects. Pretty straightforward. Okay, and that's, as it says, low impact, and it's basically added, or will add, anybody with enterprise hubs into it. Share contact company, deal tickets, and custom object records.
Yeah, praise the Lord on this one.
Yeah.
I mean, this has been a problem for so many clients that, like, ones we've done with Real Inbound and outside of it, I'm sure, like with pretty much every client, this is an issue. The fact that permissions for accessing records are like sort of based on team access, so you have to sort of it's very restrictive. The fact that you can basically either have your a user being able to see everything or everything that's owned by them, and yes, you can have different ownership properties on a record, but that's a bit of a fiddly way of doing it, or owned by people within a team that you're a member of. So this is trying to take that to a more granular level where you can just share access to certain records, or share access to records based on criteria, share access to records based on workflow outcomes, things like that. So you just have a lot better control over when you open up certain records to certain people or certain teams in the organization, rather than just having it around ownership and like assigning millions of records to people.
Yeah. So you don't get tripped up by the basic permissions that you've set up at the beginning when you've onboarded the user, and then find out 3 weeks later, they can't do the thing that they need to do because the way it's all been set up.
Oh yeah, how many times have we had emails like that? I mean,
Yeah.
that's that.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is something we'll definitely revisit with pretty much every client.
Excellent. Nice one.
I feel this is, I think they were forced to do this one because they're
Okay.
having that, because of the data compliance. The what is the European Union data compliance and the US data
Yeah.
compliance stuff,
Yeah.
where you just can't be letting foreigners looking at key data, but you still need to provide that data for some data for certain records. So
Yeah.
I think this will be pretty big for compliance as well.
It's related to the sensitive data updates, the HIPAA updates and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, good shout, actually. Thanks, Scott. Updates to data formatting in report exports. So everybody pro and above gets this. And I'm reading this as a tidying up of the output.
Yeah, that's literally all it is. Yeah. Just, I mean, if you're exporting data, you want it to be consistent so that you can then put that into whatever tool you want to that you're going to then report outside of HubSpot. So,
and you lot, I think, could probably read those reports okay, being fairly technical, but whenever I look at them, they just look like a mass of spreadsheet information. Doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. So this has got to be good. Tidying the whole thing up. Edit and delete permissions for CRM emails. There's another one, James. We come up against this over and over and over again. It's logged an email. What's going on with this update? I don't want it to log this email.
It's basically controlling who can edit and delete these kind of like email entries. They've got another one on it for notes as well, which is basically the same thing. So if you want to stop people from deleting stuff that you want to be maintaining the system to have an audit trail, also if people are trying to hide things that from everyone else that you don't.
You mean salespeople? That's what you mean. You're saying when salespeople want to get rid of that email. Yeah. I knew where you're coming from.
Got an angry email back. You promised me this and happen. Oh, I'll just delete that. Nope, you can't do that anymore. Basically.
Known as pruning your CRM record.
Yeah.
Or curating your CRM record. Love it. Okay, that's for everybody. Helpdesk summary tab. So this is about marketing emails.
Yes, it is.
It is. Yeah. Right. So very, very useful. You can just see it from the screenshot. I'm not sure how much of it you can make out. But basically, for a help desk user, an agent, very similar to the prospecting space and what will be the sales space. It's a summary. It's an overview of what's going on in the help desk, which is the live chats, the inbound calls, the emails that your service teams are handling. Another nice little update, again, bringing HubSpot further in line with your Zen desks and that kind of thing, and therefore making a better case for Service Hub, particularly when you're looking at buying the customer platform, the whole of HubSpot. Anybody got anything to add to that?
Sorry.
Yeah, I think it's good from the RevOps point of view, right? Just getting those top level metrics to kind of, working out, that information. Because if it's a black hole, then, how can you measure your customer success team if it's just with what they had before? So I'm really hoping that this kind of opens the eyes to lots of different channels and creates that aggregate number that, senior level people can actually make decisions on. Piecemeal numbers are not so useful. They're not giving you the overall picture, but it looks like this is going to give you a much better, higher perspective of what's going on here.
Yeah, that's a very good point. It's underestimated, I think. If you think about RevOps and you think of the force multipliers that you would usually apply, that they would normally be sales and marketing, but you can drive the entire GTM through your customer service approach. you don't necessarily need to be entirely sales led. This is why I love Service Hub. It really brings customer advocacy, customer service, great customer experience to the forefront. And it absolutely should be included within your RevOps dashboards and the decisions that you made regarding RevOps. Anyone else? James? Rich? No.
All good.
Great. Okay. Sales Hub everywhere with a HubSpot Sales Chrome extension. Have you switched this on yet?
No, I only found out about it 15 minutes before this meeting.
It's really good fun, but then it's a bit underwhelming because you sort of read it and you read the marketing, and it's a bit like having ChatGPT with you. So you go to a customer's website, you click on the Sales Hub, the HubSpot icon, and a little sidebar pops out and just gives you some AI generated insight into that website, into that company. It's quite nice. It's very slick. If you're doing a bit of prospecting by going website to website to website, it's going to be really useful, I would think. But if nobody else has tried it, then there's probably not much point in talking about it. So you can't see them on my screen. If I just move this a touch, there you go. So if you see these little sidekicks, these little sidebars, it's one of those with the HubSpot module on it. And when you're on a website, just pop it open. I'll use the seamless one, and then bang, you get whatever it is you need about the prospect. It's pretty cool. It's nice. Fairly low impact. Repurpose PDFs, audio files, and video files with content remix. This is really nice little additional functionality, a nice little beta. So if you don't know, content remix is a feature that HubSpot has to remix content that you've created. It gets a bit meta when you've created that content with AI, and then it gets recreated by AI ad infinitum. But let's say you start with a blog post, or now with a piece of audio or a PDF. HubSpot will, in effect, or ChatSpot will regurgitate that into other blog posts, other audio posts, adverts, social media posts, and so on. Massive time saver. And what's really good, and I think an underestimated feature, are the frameworks. So it's a really nice way of looking at how you can cascade content out. You get a piece, a really outstanding long form blog or web page, and you think, right, how do I atomize this? How am I going to spread this out to the rest of the world? Click the button, and Content Hub will do it for you. And then obviously you'll want to edit it and make sure your brand voice is applied and all that kind of thing. But it's really cool now, the ability to add in content, different sources of content. So it's not just blog posts and website pages, PDFs, audio files, and even images. Oh, and video files I can see here as well. Rich, this is closer to your sweet spot, I think. What are you thinking about this? Sorry, I caught you completely flat there. You're mute.
I think the thing here is depends on the quality of what you start with. I think you referred to it, AI remixing AI, but I think the big thing is to get the quality content and then turn it into social media posts and stuff like that, which to me would be useful. I think it's less useful when you're asking AI to generate new content off the back of a long form piece of content, maybe making a blog post out of it. I'm not a great lover, but bearing in mind my background's in SEO and AI play not so well together necessarily. Some people have had success with it, but it tends to be short-lived. So making really good high quality content can be done using AI exclusively, but I think it needs quite a lot of editing to make sure you humanize it. It's better for spot pieces like little summaries and stuff like that. From my experience in SEO, that is. But I think the idea that you could take a PDF and then turn it into a way of promoting it with posts, with social posts and stuff like that, maybe even emails and things like that. I think that's really, really, really powerful. I just think, the idea of it producing lots of different pieces of content is the bit that slightly worries me. Well, it doesn't worry me. It just means for me that the SEO side of it's not being addressed, which mainly is the reason that most people generate content.
It's like oh, I've got an echo there. It's like Scott was saying earlier about being able to enrich the work, isn't it? If you approach it as an SEO would, it's going to be a hugely useful tool. If you approach it as I would, it's just going to pump out a lot of surface crap that's not really going to mean very much to anybody. Scott, you concur?
Yeah. As they say, it's called zero shot. So zero shot is asking, any AI to produce an article without the right context. And AI kind of works like a human. It's trained like we act, and it has to go through a process of review, or a process of updating to get, if you want, top line results. So, I agree. It's like, if you're going to use content remix, it's a tool to get you started, but it's not necessarily, it's not going to be the final tool. There still has to be human intervention. You need to give it the right objectives and give it the right situation that you want to do, right? I like to think of it like having a VA. Your ChatGPT or your AI in HubSpot is it's an agent. It's like a virtual assistant. But if you tell your virtual assistant, I'll make a blog post out of this white paper, you could get anything. It might not be appealing. It might not have any sense of urgency. It doesn't have any of those other things in it because they're your VA. They never had that background or training. And the AI has to be treated the same. Like it hasn't necessarily got enough context to produce something great the first time. It's just going to get you a starting point, basically. So
Excellent. Thanks. James, got anything you want to add to that rather comprehensive commentary? Hint.
No, that covers all the key points.
Nice. Okay, so we've got only a couple left. Bulk assign tickets. Again, thank God. Another feature that you would expect to see, and as simple as click all, sign, bang. Rather than having to go through it and do it all one by one. Am I reading that one right, James?
Yeah, you are. Yeah, I mean, it was like that if you sort of go to a list of tickets, or the same as if you went for a list of deals. This is like bulk assign within the like the customer success dashboard help desk area of HubSpot. So I guess kind of what happened here was they built that help desk, and then they were like, "Oops, we forgot to add bulk assign in there," and so it added in.
Yeah, exactly. So a big impact for users of Service Hub, but arguably another one of those features perhaps should have been there at the beginning. List filters history. This is quite interesting for those pedants amongst us. Want to go back and see what they did the last time or the time before that? So
especially as like lists can be used in workflows and so on. If you're editing them, it's like the same as with the campaigns. Really, you want to know what's happening, what's being changed because of the impact that can have across other elements in the CRM.
If I'm reading it right, you're basically seeing how you got to where you got to. So you're able to see what the previous filters were, maybe edit, as you say, a new list based on the context that the previous filters are able to give you. Quite a nice feature. And edit and delete permissions for notes. So we looked at this a little bit earlier. When you mentioned it. Another beta. We've not been so good. Hopefully people have picked up when these have been enterprise or pro. I've not been so good at flagging that up this time. But it has been on the screen. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, these are all sort of enhancements to existing tools. So if you already have the main tool in your package, then you'll get the enhancement. That's pretty much the rule of it.
And maybe to clarify what Scott was saying about not being able to see some of these updates, we were looking at that via our demo portal, which gives full access to all HubSpot tools, which is why we see all the updates. And as James has just said, if you're looking at that in your portal and you don't see some of those things, it's because you don't have the subscription, or you don't have the subscription level that you need in order to access it. So there you go. Just about managed to make it an hour or so, a little bit less this time. If you are part of the Real Inbound community, you'll see that in your HubSpot updates tab in Sidekick shortly. It'll live in LinkedIn for a while, and you'll also see it on our YouTube channel, which I heartily recommend you visit and subscribe to, please and thank you. Say goodbye, gentlemen, and we'll see everybody next time.
All right, thanks guys.
Have a good day.
See you.